I am Dave Morris. I'm joined by Mike Sherman, sports editor of the Oklahoman. Mike, we have plenty to talk about today. Roger Clemens testifying before Congress. Kelvin Sampson in trouble with the NCAA again. Let's start with baseball first, Mike. What did we learn first today?
Well, we learned a new word, Dave. We learned misremembered. In a deposition, Andy Pettit, Roger Clemens' teammate in New York and in Houston, told congressional investigators that Clemens told Pettit that he had used human growth hormones. Today, under testimony, under oath before Congress, Clemens said that Pettit misremembered that conversation. And I don't think he was misspeaking because he said misremembered several times.
He did say it several times, you're right.
Reminds me of some of the words my son sort of makes up, like the time he ate all the M&Ms before dinner time, and he said he did it accidentally.
Yeah, I've probably been guilty of that myself a few times. But.
Well, the other thing we learned, that we were reminded that there's no bipartisanship in Washington, especially in an election year.
Right.
It seemed like all the Republicans were going after McNamee, and all the Democrats were going after Clemens. Especially as from the Republican side, Dan Burton of Indiana, House Representative, really went after McNamee really hard, recited all of his lies, asked him how many times he lied. McNamee might find a little comfort in the fact that this guy, Dan Burton, was also the guy who once upon a time proposed improving the war on drugs by posting an aircraft carrier off the coast of landlocked Bolivia.
Of course, Bolivia, there is no coastline.
No.
It's all right.
No.
All right, Mike, what about Roger Clemens? Did he clear his name today?
I don't think he won many converts, Dave. He might have solidified his base. He went on and told how much time he'd spent with children, how good of a philanthropist he was. But really, it sounds like the only people he satisfied, maybe the world's biggest Astros fan to ever occupy the Oval Office. Several times he evoked the name of George Walker Bush, and I don't guess the old president will be selling his Clemens memorabilia on eBay anytime soon.
So who should we believe?
Well, I think we believe Andy Pettit and Roger Clemens' nanny.
It's been an odd day.
The strongest testimony against Clemens is from his buddy, Andy Pettit, who wasn't there, and we really don't know why. But here's what we know. Nobody calls Andy Pettit a liar. Nobody in Congress, nobody on Clemens' team, and Andy Pettit, under sworn testimony, said that Roger Clemens told him that he used steroids, and Pettit himself admitted using steroids.
When they called out Andy Pettit, he said, okay, here's the deal. It's basically what he did.
I did it, and he also confessed to more steroid use than we previously knew. The most interesting stuff of the day, though, was probably the statement from Clemens' nanny. She was interviewed over the weekend. And remember, 2 days ago, Clemens folks were saying, this party that McNamee says that we were all at Canseco's house never happened. Clemens wasn't there. Well, it turns out that Clemens' nanny says, oh, yes, he was there. Not only did we learn that, but Clemens' nanny says that Roger's wife and kids spent the night with Jose Canseco. Now, Dave, I don't know that we need another House committee investigation on this, but does any of us think it's very wise to spend the night with Jose Canseco these days?
I'm going to go ahead and say no to that. All right, Roger Clemens wasn't the only sports figure under investigative scrutiny. Today, Oklahoma's old friend Kelvin Sampson, he's in trouble again in Indiana. What's Kelvin done now?
Well, evidently a lot of the same stuff that he did and got in trouble for here. Now the NCAA says that Kelvin was making impermissible phone calls to recruits, but the thing that's really got him in hot water is that he was also given, when they asked him about it and they came to investigate it, he gave false or misleading statements to NCAA investigators. Indiana says they view this with grave concern. It doesn't sound great for Kelvin. They may be in a market for another coach in Indiana. I wonder what Bob Knight's doing these days.
Well, that's an interesting situation with Kelvin, though. That team's playing really well this year. It'd be interesting if that was not exactly the case. They're a 500 team. Might be different.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can make it all the way to March.
All right, Mike, thanks for your time and analysis. Now, you can read more about this in tomorrow's editions of the Oklahoman. And, of course, we'll have updates online at News OK.